Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dad Boards. My name is Anthony. You're right smack in the middle of our 2020 holiday shopping board game gift giving guide thing. Looking for a better name. So what we're doing in this video series is taking a look at some very common household board games that you probably have played thousands of times, and giving you sort of a lateral suggestion to a more modern game that you might enjoy with your family, with kids as well. Today's household board game is Clue. Man, I love Clue. Probably one of my most played games as a kid. Just the cool concept of trying to figure out this crime, moving around the board, finding clues and whatnot. What I think might be sort of the downside of a game like that is, depending on what age kids you're playing with or their personality, they might not feel that they can sort of compete with others, right? It's very easy to feel that you're not as smart as someone because you didn't make a deduction that they happen to make. So the game I want to talk about today is Outfoxed. Now, the big difference between this and Clue is that this is a cooperative game. So you're actually playing, all the players are playing together as a team to try to solve this mystery. So you're sort of all playing against the game. So if everybody wins, great. But if you lose, everybody lost with you. It's a team thing, okay? So let's take a close look at how this game plays, and then we'll come back and talk a little more about it. So let's take a look at what comes with the game Outfoxed. Well, you've got the game board here in the middle. It's a very large grid. You get one of these cute little fox guys here. He's the culprit, the thief. He starts on top of the track here. And then your player pieces, these little detective hats, are going to start in the middle. You'll place a bunch of these suspect cards around the outside of the board. Then you're going to take one of these thief cards. Okay, now you won't look at this when you put it in, but I'll show you what they look like. They all have these little green dots on them, which will make more sense in a minute. But they also have the names on the bottom of all the possible foxes who may have been the one who committed the crime. So all these names on the bottom match all of these names that are some of the suspects. To start the game, you're going to flip over 2 suspect cards to give you a little bit of starting information. So as you can see here, we have Harold and Belvedere. They are in this deck as well somewhere, but we don't know who the thief is going to be. We're going to shuffle these up. We're going to choose one at random without looking, and we're going to place it in this little decoder device here, which is how we're going to find out some of the clues about the possible thief. So that's where that goes. On your turn, you're going to roll these 3 dice. Now, there's 2 different symbols on these dice. The blue eyes are the symbols for revealing a suspect, and the green symbols are for discovering clues. You have to announce which one of those 2 things you're doing before you roll the dice. So let's say I was going to search for clues. So I'm trying to get the green symbol, the paw prints here. I'm going to roll all 3 dice. Oh, wow. Couldn't have asked for a better roll. So I got all 3 of them to show that symbol, which means I do get to do that action. And I also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on here, which means I can move my player piece up to 6 spaces. You can move 1 space per these squares. You can go anywhere. But if you end your turn on one of these green symbols here, that's how you'll discover a clue. So let's say I was green. I'm going to go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go right there. And what I'll do now is I'm going to take the top clue from this stack of clue tokens, and it's going to show us an item. This one happens to be a monocle. What I do is I take my little viewfinder here, and I put that monocle right here. Now, when I slide this mechanism out, it's going to show me that there's nothing in there. That means the thief is not wearing a monocle. If there was a green dot here, that would be a positive identification. That would mean that the thief is wearing a monocle, but he or she is not. So what does that tell us? Well, first of all, I'm going to take this and put it right here to remind us that we found that clue. And I'm going to look at the possible suspects here. Now I've got Harold, who has glasses, but Belvedere here, as you can see, has a monocle. Well, guess what? We have now eliminated Belvedere as a suspect because the thief does not have a monocle. So he's done, out of the game. The other item you can do here is, again, the blue to reveal some suspects. So if I was going to announce that, I would roll. All right, so I got 2 of them. You have to get 3 of the same symbol to be able to do that action that you chose. The good news is you do get to roll up to 2 more times. So I'm going to keep these off to the side. I'm going to try for another blue. I got it. Fantastic. So I've got, I've got 3 blues here, which means I get to reveal 2 suspects. So I'm going to flip over 2 new suspects cards. So you're going to go here and see Ingrid, and we've got Mary. Now, remember, check for monocles. I don't see a monocle on either of these people, so they are still considered a suspect. If you fail to roll all 3 of the symbols, even after rolling 3 times, then the fox token is going to move 1, 2, 3 spaces. That's important because if he gets all the way through the path, all the way around here and down to this little fox hole, then everyone loses the game. The thief got away with it. Okay, so you've got up until that happens to solve the crime. Now there's 2 other ways that the game can finish. Either you eliminate every suspect except for 1, which means that is the guilty party, or if you have a really strong suspicion, and again, this is cooperative, so you would be talking with your fellow players about this. If you have a strong feeling of who the thief is, you can announce it, and then you can check in here to see if you're right. But if you're wrong, you lose the game. So let's take a look at another couple of clues here. We've got a cloak, so let's try that in our little decoder here. Let's see. Nope, don't see any green thing there, so not a cloak either, which means I would get rid of Harold, technically. And let's try, umbrella. Come on, umbrella. There you go. Oh, look at that. A green dot revealed in the umbrella. So that would tell us that the umbrella is a positive identification, so we know the thief did have an umbrella. So if we look at who we have here revealed still, well, Mary doesn't have an umbrella, so she's out. But Ingrid could still possibly be the thief. And that's how the game works. You're going to keep going, deducing, discussing, and that's the game. So that's Outfoxed. This is from Gamewright Games, who make excellent family weight games. You should definitely check out the rest of their catalog, regardless of if you like this game or not. So why do I like this game so much? Well, again, it takes the concept of something like Clue, where you're trying to make deductions to figure out a final answer, but you're not competing with each other. So it takes a lot of that stress out of the competitive nature, especially playing with kids. I also love the components that come with this game. Most of these Clue type games, or a lot of kids games really, are just either classic pawn looking pieces or some cardboard standout things that every time you put them in the little plastic holder, they get a little bit worse. You're getting some nice plastic pieces here, a fox, and then the player pieces are all these nice little hats. All right, so they're pretty sturdy. They're fun to look at. And then you've got the decoder thing, which just has a huge toy factor to it. Your kids are probably going to argue over who gets to pull out this little flap to look at the clues inside, which is something else you can, I guess, deal with as you're playing this game. But again, takes that competitive nature away with even a game like Guess Who that I sort of thought about focusing on as well, where you're trying to guess what the other opponent's hidden person looks like, right? So there's a similarity there with this game because you are looking at those different elements of the different fox suspects, you know, whether they have a hat on or glasses or a cane or whatnot. So in that aspect is really similar to Guess Who, and then you're sort of combining that with the whodunit of the Clue type game. That's going to do it for this one, folks. Thanks so much for watching. Happy holidays, and we'll see you next time.